सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम परीक्षलोकान् कर्मचितान् ब्राह्मणः निर्वेदमायात् नास्त्य कृतः कृतेन। परीक्षलोकान् कर्मचितान् ब्राह्मणः निर्वेदमायात् नास्त्य कृतः कृतेन। तद्विज्ञानार्थं स गुरुमेवाभिगच्छेत् समित्पाणिश्रोत्रियं ब्रह्मनिष्ठम्। तद्विज्ञानार्थं स गुरुमेवाभिगच्छेत् समित्पाणिश्रोत्रियं ब्रह्मनिष्ठम्। तद्विज्ञानार्थं सह गुरुम एव अभिगच्छेत्. One must go to teacher. Sa gachet, that evakara, because of the beauty of Sanskrit language, can go along with all of them. Tad vijnanartham eva gachet, for the sake of knowledge alone. Gurum eva, go to Guru only. Gachet eva, may you go, must go. And tadvignanartham gurum eva abhigachet. That evakara can go with all of them. Vignanartham eva gachet. For knowledge only. Gachet eva, must go to a teacher. And gurum eva, go to Guru only. And which Guru? Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. That is a problem. there is a problem with my internet. Now I think you will have a clear view. Does it make sense? Gurum eva abhigachet. One should go to teacher only, for knowledge only. One should go to, one should go only, and to a guru who is Shrotriyam and Brahmanistha only. And how? Samit Panihi eva, with Samit Panihi, with a gift, with some upahar, with an attitude of surrender. What does it reflect? Attitude of surrender. Why one must go to a teacher? The answer is this. This is a problem which it implies this understanding. This problem centered on I. The sense that I am dukhi, I could not solve by myself. I tried all the methods, but then I realized this is not within my domain. In a sense, knowing one's own helplessness with reference to this. What Arjuna said in Bhagavad Gita, Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat yachhokamucho shanam indriyanam avapya bhumau vasapatnam ruddham rajyam suranam apichadipatyam. He said, I don't see any solution to this problem. All my achievements and accomplishments fall short of gaining a complete self, gaining a self-satisfied self, gaining a self where I feel at home with myself, gaining a self which is purna, discovering that. Therefore, going to teacher with upahara or a surrender, it implies one's own helplessness and readiness to change. Change cognitively. As I said last time, Shraddha is intellectual honesty. I keep aside my prejudices. I keep aside my notions. I keep aside my views. I keep aside my ideals momentarily. I just listen to a teacher with an objective mind. That is called surrender. That is what it is depicted by the picture of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna is Arjuna's chariot. It is good to say, people feel good when some Mahatma says, Bhagavan Krishna ko apne जीवन का सारथी बनाओ. Make Lord Krishna as a charioteer of your life. How to make? They don't talk this. You cannot make Krishna. Hey Krishna, now be a charioteer and then I'm driving, you drive my life. Even if he really, in fact, he only drives our life. But the master sitting behind, he, as they say, for a lady, she cooks the cook and some driver drive the driver. Hey, be careful on the left. Be careful the rickshawala. Just go slow, there is a bump coming. They keep driving the driver. Ishvara sarva bhutanam ruddesherjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantrarudhani maya. He is driving our life. But every time that ahankara pokes him, that ego has its own design, ego has its own ideals, ego has its own views, and it refuses to flow to the design of Ishvara. It refuses to flow along with Ishvara's wish. It's its own wishes. That's what happens in each one's life. And that ego is nothing but your views and your ideals and your hang-ups and your notions and your prejudices. All bundled together is ego. There is no other thing as ego. It's easy to say. Another thing some Mahatma says, keep Leave the ego out. I've seen these slogans in the ashrams. Leave your shoes here. There is a board, arrow. Leave your footwears here and leave your ego along with your footwears. Ego is not your t-shirt, it is you. All that makes is you. And that is to be willingness to, to, to keep aside all this and see as it is what teacher is teaching. That is called intellectual honesty, and gain the new knowledge, and in the light of new understanding, one's willingness to share, one's willingness to give up, one's willingness to drop off all our notions and views and prejudices. Even I can go one step further. Shraddha gives balam. Even if I don't understand, I keep myself open and experiment to what teacher has been telling and try to see the truth behind teacher's statement, keeping aside my views and prejudices and notions and ideas and goals and whatever. While proceeding, every time when I discover something, my Shraddha gets validated. What is the validation? To discover that what I believed is true. That discovery must happen. That is Shraddha. Without discovery, that is Andhashraddha. One must discover that what I discover, that what the teacher said is true. So, Puja Swamiji had a very beautiful definition of Shraddha. To believe something pending discovery. And one must pursue this process of discovering what one believed in. That is Shraddha. That is indicated by Samitpanihi. With the hand, Samitpanihi means some gift. With an attitude of surrender, I approach to a teacher for knowledge. Don't go to teacher for something else. That is another thing. I have experience and I keep experiencing. Of late, for 1.5 years, I don't have this because I travel a lot, domestic flights, and I almost end up being out of ashram for 220 or 230 days in a year, of which 75 to 80 are abroad and rest is within the country. And I usually prefer a secluded seat. I generally have my one seat, but if there are two fellows aside, then I look out for empty seat and sit. On a long flight, when this crew finishes serving and all that, invariably within 6 to 7 months, one air hostess will come and say, how are you? Should I do anything for you, Swamiji? I said, no, do you need anything? I said, no, some special services, And then slowly she will say, I said, are you okay? Are you well? Yeah, I'm not going well with my boyfriend or with my husband or my family. And immediately she will put a hand. Do you see the palm, Swamiji? Can you tell me my future? What should I do? Guru Abhigat said, for what? Getting a boyfriend. No. Vijnanartham eva. For gaining the self-knowledge. Only one should go to a teacher. Which teacher? Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. This is just a grace. And the amount of grace you have one can discover as you keep learning. Because there is no measure for you, for an ignorant student, to know whether Guru is Brahmanistha or not. Because one who knows Brahman, who is committed to Brahman, how do you know? To know that other person knows this thing, a given subject or given method, given vastu, you should know first. As I said last time, to know who is a good software engineer, you should be at least some software engineer to find out who is a good software engineer. If you don't know anything, even a spelling of software you don't know. In your mind, software means you want a soft sole shoes only, software. That software to wear in the foot you want. You cannot identify who is a software engineer. To know a good orthopedic doctor who is a thorough, you don't know. How are you going to measure whether this fellow is a thorough orthopedic or not? And or even anything. So if you know Brahman, then you can discover who is a Brahmanistha. And when you already know Brahman, you don't need a teacher. So it's just a grace to have a Brahmanistha teacher. That is called Ishwar Krupa. Okay? And in a modern days, Shrotriya teacher. As I said last time, Shrotriya means one who knows how to communicate, who knows the sampradaya. There is a teaching methodology. There are certain prakriyas. The teaching is adhyaropa apavadabhyam nishprapancham prapanchate. As I said last time, Guru himself gives a shastra, gives a superimposition, and then it negates. Like even you are Sakshi. So many Mahatmas keep telling this. You are a Sakshi, you know. That is not you. If you were a Sakshi, what is Sakshyam? What is witnessed? And if at all you are, that's not ultimate your identity. I am Sakshi, and this Sakshi is Jagat Karanam Brahma. I am the cause of the entire universe. And what is witnessed by me is in no way separate from me. I am the very substratum for what is being witnessed by me. That's a Purnatvam. Purnamadaha, Purnamidam. It is not enough to know that I am Satchidananda. It's fine, you are Satchidananda. But this Satchidananda is Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma. That Brahman which is Yatova imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayante visamvishanti. So that is Brahman. And this Jagat is Mithya. Mithya doesn't mean bad. And Mithya doesn't mean non-existent also. Please understand, Mithya is your cognition, your appreciation about the reality of the Vastu. Vastu doesn't change at all. Your understanding about reality. So you need a teacher who can communicate properly. Otherwise, there is a confusion. And most of the people are in confusion. Because teacher doesn't know. There is a popular belief. Keep asking, who am I? And you will discover who am I. Meditate on who am I. It's so popular. You cannot discover. Who am I means that you know who am I. I am self-existent, self-revealing fact. Aham asmi, aham janami. I know I am. So where is the question of knowing? You know yourself, but there is an error in the knowledge. And that error is confounded error. for so many birds, for so many millennia. There is a mistaken identity. And that I, the self, is not going to shed off the mistaken identity by just and suddenly discover the truth of it. You need someone to tell that this identity is not you and this is you. One can discover oneself to be not body-mind complex. That Ramana Maharshi did it. As the story goes, there were children playing a game. When they were young, too young, they saw somebody in the family who died. And there was a question, what is death? And then no elders could answer the question. And a typical Indian approach or elderly approach, when you don't have an answer, you use authority. Shut up. When you grow up, you will know. He's dead, full stop. A typical innocent mind of the child discovered that authority, elders have to. Typical, that fellow discovered what? That motionlessness is death. Not to respond to external stimuli is death. The fellow was in a typical Indian ritual, was tied and then taken over them and then given bath, and they never made gave any response, never resisted, nothing. So the children, Ramana Maharshi, that Venkatraman was his name, he and his friends started playing a game. Those days, and I'm sure especially Ramana's father were not so rich. So they could not afford the Lego and all those games, The village children have to play the games which doesn't involve any money. So they discovered and started playing. Let us play death, death. And who wins the battle? Who dies for a longer time? They thought death is like those security guards of 10 Downing Street, that in London, Prime Minister's office, a residence or Queen's, you go there, I've gone there. And they tried all the gestures to make him move. The fellow will stand still with open eyes, no response. You laugh and you make all gestures and you utter all words and nothing, no movement. So they used to play the game. One fellow will sleep and others will try to bring him out of the so-called apparent sleep. Make sure that fellow responds to the statements and movements and touch and all that. And the one guy will be counting 1, 2, 3, 4. If he wakes up at 10, that is his count is 10. The second one at 15, third one at 7. Ramana always won the game. He could hang on as a dead person for a long time. And slowly by doing this, he found it is a very peaceful experience. No experiential thing is Atma. Atma is not a matter of object of experience. In fact, every experience is possible because of Atma. It is a very experiencer. And whatever you experience, that peace and happiness, it was just a state of mind. Momentarily, mind became thoughtless. Because you don't remember also. Don't respond and don't remember. You try to keep the mind still. And he succeeded. And in the process, he discovered that I am not body-mind complex. That's it. One can discover by oneself. I am not the mind, I am not the body, I am not the senses. But that is not ultimate you. The discovery is I am body-mind complex and I am not body-mind complex. That is you. Actor can say, I am the beggar and I am not beggar. In other words, beggar is not separate from me. I am from the standpoint of the substratum, Adhisthata, Satta Spurti Pradata is me. Beggar exists because of me. Beggar has sentiency because of me. And therefore, from the standpoint of existence and sentiency, I am beggar. But that is not me. That is beggarness is superimposed on me. Similarly, the world is not separate from me. I am the substratum. To know this, you can't, by just sitting, you cannot discover this. Teacher has to tell you, and not only tell you, but make you see this. And it is like seeing as a daylight. And you have to keep seeing it again and again. People often ask, oh, we hear Swamiji, and when you teach, it becomes so clear, but we cannot hold on. That is a problem. That is a secondary problem. You need Nididhyasana. You need Shravanambana. And then some of the sincere seeker keep on blaming themselves. Oh, I am useless. I cannot do. Let us shut everything and sit quiet and go alone, and then I will discover. Nothing. Continue Shravana. Do some mananam and nididhyasana. We have to do that. Just closing the eyes and asking yourself, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? The self is not going to say, hey, I am Satchidananda. Hey, I am Jagat Karanam Brahma. You don't know me. Hey, come on, know me. The question comes, who tells you that? Is it a self who tells you? If the self is telling you, then who is the one who is being told? That is the self, and how can the self can tell the self? Subject cannot be the object, and object cannot be the subject. Exactly like, suppose Karna keeps on meditating. When he took himself to be the son of Radha, keeps on meditating. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And inside fellow will say, hey, you are not son of Radha, you are son of Kunti. That's not going to happen. Our good old story, Tvam Dashmosi, you are the 10th one. That the fellow is looking for the 10th one. That means the fellow has already concluded, I am not the 10th one. I have already concluded, I am Dukhi, I am Parichinnaha, I am small, I am nobody. That fellow is not going to discover by itself, I am Purna, etc. You need a teacher, one who knows what to tell and what not to tell. And if it is to be told, in what context it is to be told. Words can convey something. Listen this very, very, very paradoxical situation. In that Kathopanishad mantra, Ascharyo Vakta Kushalosya Labdha Kushalanusreshta. Teacher should be Kushala. Why? That which is conveyed through the words is beyond words. Yato vacho nivartante, yato vacho nivartante, apraapya manasa saha. When I say this is all you need to know, people just don't know this meaning, they don't have tradition, and therefore the beyond words means meditate. It is not beyond words. It is not the direct meaning of a given word. Like pen, or a cat, or a dog, or a car, or a house, there is Brahman. There is nothing like that. It is not direct meaning. You have to lakshartha. And that, to convey that, and that teacher has to use the known words. And through known words, he has to knock off the known meaning and take it to something unknown to the student. It requires a sampradaya, whole teaching tradition. And you can see the need of sampradaya only when you have it. If you are gifted with a Sampradayic teacher, if you are taught by a Sampradayic teacher, you may not grasp it completely and you may not have reason to see the need of it, the clarity, why Sampradaya. When you have heard Shastra from a Sampradayic teacher, and then you listen to somebody who is non-Sampradayic, you don't enjoy. You feel something missing. You feel this is not clear. There is ambiguous feeling. That is Sampradaya. That much you can discover when you learn from a Sampradayic teacher. But to have such a teacher is grace. Just Ishvara Krupa. To have Brahmanistha and Shrotriya Acharya is a grace. One who is a Shrotriya who can teach, as I said last time, that one can know from Aptavakya, from people around. This is society carries there is a word here say that this teacher is great and the teaching, etc., etc. But nowadays it is very dangerous to go by public opinion. There are modern gurus talking about Kriya and Yoga who are more popular than any teacher. They have followers in millions. But either they are, some of them are nor Shrotriyas, nor Brahmanishtas, some chow, they keep blabbering. And in their, as I said, that gullibleness of a student, when he or she wants something out of this world, unconventional, they become victim of. It's so, I become speechless. Some of them, I am in some groups, and some Swamis float the group and they add my number. And then they do self-publicity and send their videos and talks. And when there is a caption, must listen. I generally don't listen, but while I am traveling and I want some fun, I listen. Some Purva Paksha I need. So, and I have nothing to do, I listen. And I listen, I become speechless. Yato vacho nivartant. Listening to their gnanam, I said, what to tell these guys? Exactly like Katha Upanishad, andhe naiva niyamana yathanta. A group of blind people are led by another blind. But they don't know Shastra. They have not studied the Shastra from a traditional teacher. And that's a grace when you have such a teacher, Ishwar Krupa, and more you study, at least this much that's a pain I have about Hindu society. At least go to a teacher who teaches Upanishad and Gita and Vedas. They go to all kinds of teachers who do some chamatkara and then make them gurus, and who do give some vibhutis, and then some Babaji, and then Babaji gives a movie, and some gurus and some gurudevs and all kinds. So gullible. I sometimes feel that at least Muslims and Christians are very clear. They go to a father or somebody, at least they keep to Bible. They will not go to any Christian religious leader who disowns the Bible. Muslim will not go to any religious leader who disowns Quran. But Hindus will go. Who will talk ill of Rama, who will talk Upanishad is a blabbering, Gita is useless. Then still they go and there's a modern Krantikari teacher, revolutionary teacher, who condemns Shastras, who condemns everybody. This classic case was Rajneesh. He kept on blabbering and talking ill of Shankaracharya ji and all tradition. Still he had a following. Anyway, that's our problem. But once there is lack of clarity, at least go to a teacher who teaches Shastra. And a student who wants to learn, at least this much clarity those days was there For moksha, I must go to a teacher. Narada also said, Soham Bhagavas Shochami. Soham. What Soham? Rugvedo, Adhyami, Ajurveda. I have studied this. All these accomplishments, in spite of having all these Shochami. And then he says, E Mahadbhyaha Bhavatbhyaha Yetat Shrutam Maya Tarati Shokam Atmavi. I have heard from great people like you that Atmavit, when one knows Atma, the self, he crosses the shoka and the grief in the life. Grief and delusion, shoka moha tarati. So therefore teach me Brahma Vidya. Even Lord Rama went to Vasishtha and asked the question. I have to study Shastra. Even Arjuna, Shishyasteham sadhivam tvam prapannam. Shadhi means shikshaya. Tvam prapannam tvam sharanagatam. Shishyaha, that means my surrender, my readiness to learn, he expressed. And Bhagavan didn't tell him, do bhajan, sing drod, do puja, have this tikka, this kind of tikka, this mala, do this meditation, do this yoga. Bhagavan taught him that itself is a pramanam. Arjuna asked for moksha. Nishchitam bruhitanme. Please tell me what takes me to Shreyas, what gives me moksha. And then Bhagavan said this and taught Gita. And that too none other than Arjuna, one who was the most beloved of the five Pandavas. And he said, in the Gita itself there is a verse, Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. Arjuna was certified bhakta. Like COVID certified, we have so many bhaktas, Mirabai was bhakta, Tulsidas ji was bhakta, Kabir was bhakta in our history, Tukaram, etc., Narsi Mehta, every state has some bhaktas. But the society tells them bhaktas. And we hear some stories in that life where Rama came and Krishna came and all that. But no, none of them was told by their own Ishtadevta, Rama or Krishna or somebody, that you are my bhakta. Bhagavan certifies in the 4th chapter, hey Arjuna, bhaktosi me. And sakha cheti, you are my beloved friend. And of course, my brother-in-law. That is the greatest qualification nowadays. Because Krishna's sister was married to him. To that Arjuna, Bhagavan taught Shastra. That is enough for us to understand moksha is knowledge. Gnanad evatu kaivalyam, Veda Vakyas. And that one must learn from a teacher. No doing or no achieving can take to moksha. Even achieving some dham and lokas can never ever take you to moksha. They think it's okay, their belief, and we respect their belief. But that is not Shastra Sammata. That is not the truth. And that's why he goes to a teacher. And when a student and who is desirous of knowledge, gaining the knowledge, there is a readiness to do anything, samit pani, for learning purpose, that he should select such a teacher. And what teacher should do, that is what it is told in the last mantra. Look at the last one. 13th mantra of this first Mundaka. Tasmai savidvan upasannaya samyak. Tasmai savidvan upasannaya samyak. Prashanta chittaya samshaman vitaya. Prashanta chittaya shaman vitaya. Yenaksharam purusham veda satyam. Yenaksharam purusham veda satyam. Provachatam tattvato brahma vidyam. Provachatam tattvato brahma vidyam. Tasmai, to that person. Who saha vidwan. Saha vidwan means that teacher. To that student, that teacher. Which teacher? The one who was approached. One who is mentioned as Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Which student? That one who has Virakti, Vairagya. That student, Upasannaya Samyak. A student who has approached the teacher in a proper way, Prashanta Chittaya Shamanvitaya. One who has a quiet mind, and Shamanvitaya, who is endowed with Shamadamadi, Tam Brahma Vidyam Provacha. Teacher, may the teacher teach him Brahma Vidya. What is Brahma Vidya? Yena Aksharam Purusham Veda Satyam. Yena Satyam Purusham. Yena Aksharam Purusham. That knowledge by which one gains, one would get Akshara. That Akshara, Naksharati the Akshara. That which does not decay, that which does not modify, that does not decline, and Satyam, that which is always is, that which is the cause of everything, that Brahman. If you remember the first Mundaka onwards, the first part, all the time Brahman is said as Aksharam Brahma, Aksharam Brahma, Aksharam Brahma. That Brahman teacher, one should teach. Vidwan should teach. Okay? Look at this. See, Shruti doesn't use the word Guru. Tasmai sa Guru, it doesn't say. Earlier he said you go to a Guru. You know, Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmano nirveda mayat. Then he says, what should one do? When one has Vairagya, he says, tad vignanartham gurum eva vigach. One should go to Guru. First time the word Guru is used. What is the meaning of Guru? Nowadays, in India especially, Guru word is used very loosely. Even these dancing girls also tell their dance teacher is a Guru. The music learners also tell, singers also tell, he is my Guru. Even the university research guide by university student is also referred as Guru. And those who are given to some improper businesses, they also tell, this is my Guru, I learned from him this practice. The chartered accountant and business guys who know how to bribe and get the things done, they said, this is my Guru, he taught me how to deal with government, how to corrupt people, etc. And the worst is, people chew tobacco in India. I mean, pan, the betel nut leaf they eat. There are pan shops, and each one has a specific requirement. How much what lovely and kimam and 120 and 320 or something are their numbers. I don't know. They have their own, when they go, and there are some popular pan shops, there are a lot of clients in queue. They won't mind standing there on the road waiting for their pan turn to come. And when the previous clients are given away and his turn comes, then the pan wala will say, Bolo Seth, bana do na aapka pan. He knows what pan he eats. Haan, bana de. And then he will ask, kya chalta hai, Guru? Yes. So pan wala is also Guru. The definition of Guru is Gukarastvandhakaraha Rukarastan Nivartakaha Ajnana Nirodhitvat Guru Nityabhidhi. Who is a Guru? who removes your self-ignorance. Self-ignorance. And that Guru can remove self-ignorance. There are two conditions. Provided you ask for it. And provided you are ready to receive the knowledge. Even if one asks, if this is moksha purushartha, is something one has to desire. It is not natural. Arthakama is natural. Ahara nidra bhayamaithunam cha samanya metat pashubhir narana. But then moksha you have to ask for. And then only teacher will teach. Otherwise it is of, they say, bhasmana juhoti. As if you are offering your oblations in a yajna where there is no fire. There are a few ashes and then you offer oblations. The oblations will not reach to Devata because Agni is a Hutavaha. What is offered is carried by Agnis and given, delivered to respective Devatas. So without fire, if the whole ritual is performed as per the stipulation, it is not ritual. It is waste of time and resources and energy. So also if one doesn't ask, that means one doesn't want it. Knowledge can never be given. You can give food. You can give medicine even if the fellow doesn't want it. Every mother does it, to a baby who doesn't need. They hold the nose and push the thing in the mouth, Or sometimes these fellows, politicians who sit on fasting unto death and all those, they are forcefully taken to hospitals and tied and they are given intravenous glucose and something, some energy. That can be given, but you cannot give knowledge. You open the skull and put the knowledge and close it. That doesn't happen. One should be willing to receive. Even if one is willing to receive, one should have necessary qualification to gain this knowledge, called as sadhana chatushtaya sampat. And when teacher sees some glimpse of it, then even if the willingness, he accepts the person as a student, as a shishya, then he or she becomes a guru. So other person is a guru, provided you are a shishya, you are a mumukshu, you are a jignasu. Puja Swamiji very aptly used to say, Guru is not a generic name. I am wife or husband, provided other person is willing to become husband or wife. That person becomes my husband, then I become wife. Or that lady becomes my wife, then only I become husband, not otherwise. So Guru involves two things. As I said, one's desire to know, one's willingness to know, one's surrender, and necessary qualifications. What are they? Prashanta Chittaya Shamanvita. That is necessary. Prashanta Chitta. Prakarshena Shantam Chittam Yasya Saha. One whose mind is quiet, completely quiet. One can have momentarily quietude of the mind. When the mind stands resolved either on fulfillment of desire, or when you're too tired, or with deliberately you try to resolve the mind by becoming so-called thoughtless and etc., you can be quiet. A given experience, an absorbing experience, you become quiet. Going to a sea and watching the sunset, going to mountain, especially the Americans, at a night coming to India and seeing a night full, the sky studded with stars. One gentleman from Canada had told me when he came to ashram way back 15, 20 years ago. He says, after 17, 18 years, I have seen so many stars in the sky. because he never visited India before that. Though he was an Indian, he was citizen and went there. He's already 85 today, but he went there when he was 23 and was busy in making his career and all that. And then he was so absorbed and enjoying the quietude possible. Prashanta Chitta means resolution of likes and dislikes. And that resolution, not momentary, that resolution caused by Viveka and Vairagya. That was told earlier. Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmano nirvedamaya. That is Prashanta. One who enjoys a mind which is not riddled with, which is not bubbling with, which is, this doesn't have a pressure of likes and dislikes. These ragadveshas express themselves in the form of desire. People say give up desires. This is not possible. Desire-free mind. It is easy to say. You cannot have desire-free mind. As I said earlier also, you don't desire a desire. Desire is manifestation of ragadvesha. And you cannot stop the desire. And the stronger the ragadveshas, the stronger the desire, and that desire, that kama, is a pressure caused by strong likes and dislikes. And sometimes that pressure is so much, one crosses the maryada of dharma. Knowing well, anichannapi papam charati. He or she doesn't wish to do. He or she knows that I am doing wrong. It is only and only because of the pressure of karma. That karma causes that pressure. That desires, being what they are, create inner pressure to drive one to cut corners. And if the pressure is less, desires drives one to act out within the boundaries of dharma to achieve something. That's all caused by desires. You cannot give up desires. You cannot even give up ragadveshas, because what kind of ragadvesha you have, you don't know. They are in unconscious. It is vasanas or samskaras. And what you don't know, how can you give up? You cannot say, I am giving up COVID-19 bacteria from my body. Whether you have it or not, first identify. You know it only when they express symptomatically in terms of fever and all kinds of things, what they tell. You cannot give them up. So ragadveshas cannot be given up. You have to grow out of him. Resolve them by viveka and vairagya. That is called tasmai sa vidwan samyak upasannaya. Which tasmai, who is that fellow? There is a fourth case, tasmai. Then prashanta chittaya, shamanvita. They are all adjectives to that tasmai, to that student, to one who has approached you in a proper way, one who has a prashanta chitta. Who is a prashanta chitta? Resolution of raga. What is the meaning of resolution of raga? How do I know my likes and dislikes are resolved or not? Simple. like self-testing kit now they have available in India. COVID self-testing kit. So I'm giving you this, what they call it, takeaway tip, home takeaway tip, self-testing parameter kit, whether I am resolved to ragadveshas or not. What is that? When ragadveshas are resolved, one enjoys clarity about the Purushartha. Purushartha Nishchaya is there. Moksha is a priority. Just as the pressure of ragadvesha makes one to cross the maryada of dharma, to cut the corners, the same pressure pushes one to pursue dharma artha. Moksha should be the ultimate priority. And the clarity about the means of moksha. That is Prashanta Chitta. Ask yourself, am I clear about it? That ultimately what I am seeking is not money, not power, not position, not possessions, not relationship. It is the happy self. As I quoted in previous classes, the Yajnavalkya Rishi's mantra to his student wife student or student wife, that's better, Maitri, na vittasya kamaya vittam priyam bhavati. That there is a raga for wealth, it is not for the wealth's sake. Having the wealth, I want to see myself as a happy self. I want to see myself as a secure self. I want to see myself as a content self, complete self. Na vittasya kamaya, na putrasya kamaya, na patyuhu kamaya, not for the sake of husband, not for the sake of wife, not for the sake of objects or pleasures. I seek things and beings and relations and situations for this, that clarity. If one has Purushartha Nishchay, that is called Prashanta. I have seen people, they are sometimes they behave, they're so good. They have a very good heart. They have a very good surrender to a teacher, Shraddha. But lack of clarity, Prashanta Chittam not being there. One of my students, who has been with me studying for almost 12 years, very good-hearted person. For last 2 years, studying numerology. I said, why are you wasting time? Lack of clarity. Why you want numerology? No, Swamiji, I can help somebody. There is a kick. There is a fun in predicting somebody's future, somebody's past, and then they feel, oh, gratified. Oh, you know this. What should I do? And that Faladesha, that person doesn't know. And keep telling everybody, do Hanuman Chalisa, do Vishnu Sahasranam. That's not an answer. Why are you wasting time? Nahi rakshati dukrun karane. संप्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहीं रक्षति डुक्रुन करणे भज गोविंदम गोविंदम भज मूढ़मते. The death is around the corner. You have the most precious, priceless human birth and the rarest of the rarest of the rarest of the rarest opportunity that you came across a competent teacher. You have moksha, you have opportunity to study. Then finish this. Why get into this? No clarity. Purushartha Nishchaya Abhava. Good for nothing. That their goodness will not help them for their growth. You may earn some punya here and there by helping others. You can earn punya by donating money and doing some seva. That's fine. Do it. Nothing wrong in it. But when you know that my fundamental problem is self-ignorance, and this is the solution, some grace that you understood this and got in touch with some proper competent teacher, and still you have some other priorities. And they often say, I have been telling this for last so many classes, almost 15, last 3-4 weeks I have been feeling, I'm pained to see some people being absent. They are very good people. And then when 2-3 of them I recently met, I said, why are you not coming to class? Oh, Swamiji, guest comes at that time. That means guest is a priority, not your moksha. I said the better seva to guest would be make them listen this. At least someday something will get into them. Some dry woods are there, it will ignite that person and may study. No, somebody is coming, and then I said they come exactly at 7 o'clock. No, some of them come 7:30, 7:45. They call and come, but I don't like to listen half. Problem. Purushartha Nishchaya is there. Prashanta Chitta. Samanvitaya. Samanvitaya means endowed with Devi Sampatti. Samadhamadi. Shamo, Dhamma, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. We have studied in Tattva. Or in Gitaji's language, endowed with 20 qualities. Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Kshanti, Rajavam, Acharya, Upasanam, Shaucham, Stairyam, Atma, Vinigraha, etc., etc. They are there. So, Shamaha, Manonigraha, Damaha, Indriya Nigraha, etc. Uparama, Shraddha, some inner strength. Titiksha is inner strength to accept the pleasant and unpleasant, to keep calm, to remain cool in favorable and unfavorable, in success and failures. That Shaman Vitaya. That means the fellow is ready. Provachatam Brahma Vidya. May teacher teach this Brahma Vidya. What? Aksharam Brahma Veda, by which student, that Vidya by which student, Shishya discovers himself or herself to be Aksharam Brahma, that teaching. And Purusha, Aksharam Purusha. Purusha means Purnam, that which is full. Sarvam Purayati iti Purusha, that which fills up everything. Filling up everything as a substrate. Like an actor fills up all the roles. The roles are beggar or a smuggler or a police inspector or a lover, whatever. He is because of that. That Purusha. The one who is the very substratum of the entire world. Anything that is because of that Purusha. And that Purusha is I. That one, that knowledge by which student discovers that Satyam, that which is the cause of everything unchanging. Provach. Okay? It appears from the Shruti Vakya that there is some rule for a teacher also. But as such, there is no rule. Veda has again and again told that Nistrai Gunne Pathivicharatam Kovidhi ko Nisheda. The one who knows oneself to be Brahman, Maya Karanam Brahman, who is beyond 3 gunas, that person, for him there is no Vidhi Nisheda. Shruti itself says, I don't give any command, any injunctions to that person. What is this? This is convention. A teacher will not but teach also. That is the nature of Vidya. When there is the teacher is Shrotriyam and Brahmanishtam. Brahmanishtam means committed to Brahman. Means there is the priority. Knowledge is the priority. Not this seva and this pravachan and this katha and all kinds of things people do. Swamiji, I still remember, has told me quite a bit often. It was just I feel blessed. As a son, he fulfilled my mission. Though he had told this sentence to me nth number of times. I mean, quite often he said. And most of you have studied from would have heard that I am a teacher of Vedanta. He used to feel proud. And he used to tell with great pride that I am teacher of Vedanta. Never cared for what he did and what publicity he can get and all this. So when we had to file a case to release all our temple, now you'll see that movement coming once the COVID is over, all Hindu temples being taken over. I know that in the history, when it becomes popular in the Supreme Court, it will be said, the first applicant and two others. So all trustees and everybody said, and Swamiji himself says, you, Paramatma, be the first one and get two acharyas and hold it. So in the history, it will be said, Swami, Paramatma, Saraswati and two others. And I wanted, this is going to be a great thing, even much, in my opinion, when I get this back, it is much, much bigger cause than getting back the Ram temple. Because 100,000 crores of rupees are going to different state governments, all Hindu money. And Hindu money should be used for Hindu cause. Every year we are losing this. So I had an emotional, when all said to Swamiji that Swamiji, you should sign, he refused. Everybody said, Srila told, Sunitama told, they all told me Swamiji is not agreeing. Our lawyer, some Swamis, finally I just told him, and I still remember his expression, and he looked at me, Paramatma, I don't want to be known as an activist. I want to be known as a teacher. I was so moved. Then I said, Swami, I know, Swamiji, you told this to me quite often and you're telling in the class. I was almost with tears. I said, but I want you people to know the visionary there, Swami there. You could visualize this. Please sign, Swamiji. This is my personal demand, I said. He looked at me and finally gave signature. So the Brahmanishta is a one who is a teacher. I said, I don't want that credit. History will remember me. And as a student or as your son, I feel that even if it was my visualization, I want you to be remembered. So finally, he gave in to me. And they all could not believe how I got the signature, but I can't tell them the emotional dialogue we had there. But the Brahmanishta is a teacher. And it is a nature of the knowledge. When a right kind of student approaches, you see, again you might have heard from him, what is the expression of Ananda? What is the expression of Purnatvam? How does it express in Vyavara? The expression of Brahman is compassion. And compassion is something you can't control, it just flows. So also when there is a right student and the right question, approaches the teacher in a proper way, it invokes the compassion and knowledge will flow. Therefore they say in Bhagavad Gita, Ya Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmad Vinisruta. Krishna has not taught it. It just flowed. Vinisruta, it just slipped out of the mouth of Lord Krishna, which was right there as a heart. Bhagavan says, Gita me hridayam partha. The heart of the Krishna just slipped out when he found a right student. It's not a rule, but it will happen. And there is a convention also. Teacher will teach. What else he will do? One who knows Brahman. Well, that means when there is a Vairagya from location also, no desire for name and fame and devotees, as I call it. There are people have, modern people have devotees. I have so many followers on Twitter, and you can this much and that much, and nothing carefree. Freedom. That person will not do anything but teach. And therefore, to maintain the sampradaya, to maintain this Guru Shishya Parampara, Shruti says, please keep on teaching. And that is extended to a Brahmanista Guru also. Okay, we'll conclude this section today. And next weekend, maybe one day, today, whatever, I don't know how many questions we have. We'll have question answer session for this section of Mundak. Saturday, at least Saturday, I think we'll have. And Sunday we may start next month, next section. Om Purnamadah Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaskar, and yesterday I had been to Maharashtra 2 days. Just felt like going to one of the Jyotirlingas called Krishneshwara in Maharashtra. And maybe some punyam, Guru Kripa, and my daily upasana of Lord Shiva. Officially, all the temples are closed in Maharashtra. So temples, nobody is allowed, no devotees. And somehow somebody told that this Swami is coming, and I was given a welcome in the temple. And I was made to sit, and in the temple, thousands of people come. I was alone in the temple. Me and Dhanyaji had a privilege of chanting Rudram in the temple, in Krishneshwar Mahadev. On ordinary days, they may take me in, but then so many sound and noise and brahmanas and all. And people along with me also had some close darshan and TV cameras and all that. And then little greed, bolo Angli aapet pahuncho. So we thought of going to Shani temple, Shani Shenglapur, that is there, very popular, it's close by. And on every Saturday, they have minimum 2 lakhs visitors. 2 lakhs, 200,000. And there were only 2% on yesterday. One of them was Swami Paramatmananda. Some grace. I was taken there and I had a darshanam. And then I had to travel back. And it's quite far, almost, you can say 600-700 kilometers away. So I was on the road. Earlier I thought I will take some question answer sessions. That's how I was insisting. But it was too tiring. Within 2 days, I must have traveled 2,500 kilometers, 3 days. So dropped it. We had a darshan. And maybe I'll show you a picture next time. I'm not putting on social media because it was a privilege and I don't want that. So I'll show you that Krishneshwar picture next time.